All right, so this video is to take a look at how to use the tablets that we use to adjust your in-ear mix on a Sunday or a performance weekend. So when we start, you should have the app already up and running and already authorized, but in case it isn't, then I'm going to show you how to get through the authorization process, and then we'll look at how to use the app. So we're going to start, if we're here at the home screen, at the bottom center, there's SSL Live TACO. You'll tap that, it will open the application. And then the next thing you do, you'll see that it says SSL L200. That's the name of our console on the network. Next to that, you'll see that it says discovered. And then to the right of that, it's asking for a password. We've already talked about the password. If you need to know what that is again, let me know, and we'll share that with you. So you type the password in, then you hit connect. And as soon as you hit connect, it should say awaiting authorization. Once it says awaiting authorization, that means that the person running the sound system will have to do some stuff at their end. It's all magic. Don't worry about how that works. And then that will tell you that you are connected to the console. Once you are, you should see, still here at the setup screen, at the top right, there's a button that says menu. Now, it will say setup. When you see setup, it will show you a couple of options down here at the bottom left. Okay? There are two different authorization types we're going to do for each of the different tablets. So we've got our worship leaders who will get engineer authorization. That means they can get in here and kind of mess some stuff up. They can control the faders for what everybody in the audience is hearing. So we don't want everybody getting that. So just a couple of people get that. Then you get authorization that will approve you to run just your own in-ear mix. That's what most of the tablets will get. If you're seeing that control, so if you're only authorized to run your own aux, this is what you'll see. You'll see a couple of buttons, stems before channels. You want to have that turned on, and left justify controls. All that does is just moves the menu button from the right side of the screen to the left. We just keep it on the right, don't worry about that. But what you're looking for is the stems before channels. You want that turned on. Now, if you have engineer authorization, so that's going to be, again, the worship leaders or the vocal team. And there's a very specific reason why the vocal team gets different authorization. If you are working with a tablet that's authorized as an engineer, you will see some additional controls. One of them is called compressed query. As I press that, it's going to toggle back and forth between compressed query and expanded query. You want compressed query, stems before channels, and then that's how you want your setup screen to look as a vocal tablet. Okay? Once we get that, hit menu and go down to faders. So it's going to look very similar on both of them. Here's the differences. On the individual mixes, so when you're controlling your own mix and nothing else, you basically have setup and faders, nothing else. So when you go to faders, you're guaranteed that any fader you move should be adjusting only what you're hearing. You can't mess up anyone else's mix. If you're authorized as an engineer, there's an extra step here. You want to be super careful that you follow this step. Right underneath the menu button is a button that says mixes. Now, when you select that, you're now adjusting individual sends to musicians on the stage. So you want to make sure that whatever belt pack you're using, so this one I grabbed is ears 2. This is the one that Connor typically wears. So whatever number is on your belt pack, you want to hit mixes, and then the very top edge of the screen, you can now scroll left to right. You'll see there is a button that matches the label on your belt pack. So in this case, ears 2. So I want to press ears 2. And you'll notice the faders change. They look a little bit different now. You want to always make sure that you're only moving faders for the button that matches your ear pack. This is super important. If mixes is turned off and you move faders, you're actually moving the faders at the soundboard that control what everybody in the room hears. Very important. Make sure mixes is turned on. And then scroll up here at the top edge of the screen until you find the button that matches the label on your belt pack. Press that. Even if it's already lit, go ahead and press it again just to make sure. Now when you move a fader, you're controlling what this belt pack hears. Okay? Very important, because if you walk up here and you've got, say, ear 7 selected, even though you're wearing ears 2, you're moving a fader and you're thinking, well, I don't hear a difference. It's not changing anything. While the poor guy wearing ear 7, his ears are bleeding because you've moved all the faders and turned them all up, and you're controlling his mix, not your own, okay? So ears 2, whatever label matches the belt pack that you are wearing. So this is really important. This really only applies to any tablet that's authorized as an engineer. That's worship leaders and the vocals tablet, okay? So now you'll see different channels in here, kick, snare. Down the right side of the screen, there are different tabs. So each one of these tabs shows 12 faders. And so if there's more than 12 things coming to your belt pack, then you have to tab down to get to the rest of them. So one thing that's really important is know who's on what mic. So for instance, if I'm on ears 2, I should be singing into WLS wireless 2 microphone. You always want to make sure your vocal mic matches the label on your belt pack, okay? So if you want to hear, if you're singing a soprano part and you want to hear the other soprano singer also, find out what mic that soprano is holding, and then you come over here and turn up the fader for that label of microphone. So if the other soprano is on wireless 4, you go to the wireless 4, and you'll notice it says wireless 4 raw. Okay, so you'll come over here and adjust the fader for wireless 4 raw until you hear them as loud as you want them in your ears. Okay, the raw just means that that is an unprocessed version of your own mic. So back at the soundboard, we're doing all kinds of weird things, EQ and compression and some other stuff that you don't want to hear in your ears. So wireless raw is the version of your mic without all of that processing on it. Okay, so just know that whatever mic you have, if you've got wireless 4 on the tablets, it will be labeled wireless 4 raw. Okay, so we've got the different channels coming to you. This works just like a little audio mixer. So if you've ever played with an audio mixer, you just, if you need more, you bring the fader up. If you want less sound, bring the fader down. Okay, so pretty straightforward here. There's different tabs. You can scroll through the different tabs to find the instrument that you want to adjust in your in-ears. It's a lot easier on the tablets that are authorized for just a single in-ear feed because you have the same tabs down the right side if you're listening to more than 12 things coming to you, but that's kind of it. You don't have any other settings that you have to adjust or stay away from. The vocals tablet though, again, very important. I know I'm saying this over and over, but make sure you hit mixes and that you scroll along the top of the screen and find the button that matches the label on your belt pack. Press that and then adjust the faders, okay? A couple of things to note when you're listening to your in-ear mix. You want to listen to yourself. You want to listen to something that gives you pitch. Typically, that's going to be either a bass guitar or the piano. So you've got pitch to sing and tune along to, and then you need something for timing. So you might want to listen to the drum squash channel. That's going to be what our drummer is doing, but definitely want to listen to the click channel. So in our blended services, that's labeled B-click, so blended click. And in our contemporary or engaged service, that's labeled E-click for engage click. So you can find B-click or engage click. They show up on these channels as well. That's where you get your timing. Bass or guitar, or I'm sorry, bass or piano is where you get your pitch. And then kind of add in a little sprinkling of whatever else you need. Now, be careful if you start turning a fader up and you're like, it won't go up any further and I still need more of that. The best thing to do is say, okay, hold on, what is too loud in my mix? So oftentimes that's the better way to go is say, I can't hear myself, but I'm hearing too much of this other thing. So go turn the other thing down. Okay, so that's kind of a cheat. So if you're turning yourself up and you can't get enough volume of yourself, start turning other things down. Okay, now along those lines, if you're wearing one of these belt packs, one of the wireless belt packs, your best place to start on the volume knob is with it at about 5. So turn the belt pack up about halfway, and that should be a pretty good volume for your headphones. Now, everybody's going to have a different set of in-ear monitors, so Some people may have to run up around 6, some people may have to run around 4, but right there around 5 is a good starting point on the wireless belt packs. If you're on a wired belt pack, one of these little guys, just know that you're probably going to run around 80 or 90%. Okay, so you're almost turned all the way up. That's normal. Don't let that kind of freak you out that you're turning it up almost all the way. So start 60 or so percent, plug your headphones in, then put your headphones on. That's always important too. Don't put your headphones on and then turn on your belt pack, because if it's really loud or there's static in it or something, you don't want to have that piped right into your brain. So plug your headphones in, then turn it on, then put your headphones on. That goes for either type. Okay, so on the wireless, you're going to run your volume at about 50%. On the wired, you're going to run it probably 80 or 90%. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to hear, but you don't have a fader for it, that can happen. It means that you need to let the sound engineer know, and they can add that instrument to your tablet. And they'll do that. It'll show up immediately on your tablet, and then you can make your adjustments from there. These mixes will get saved with each service type. So if you're singing in the blended service, you come in on Wednesday and you do a rehearsal, you get your mix sounding just the way you want. If the sound guy's doing his job right, he'll hit save at the end of rehearsal, and it saves what mix you've built. And then Sunday, when you come in for your performance, he will hit recall, and that will recall your in-ear mix, okay? So be sure and let them know if that's not happening, or if you see something weird happening here. Oftentimes there's something that we can change or we can fix, but we don't know to fix it if we don't know it's broken. So speak up, let us know if you need any help with anything, and otherwise that's how you run the tablets.